What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the Peach State Power Hour presented by UGAsports.com and M. Jones Heating and Cooling. I'm your host, Paul Maharry, joined alongside Andy, Stowe, and Eddie from Acworth, our last show of the season, if you will. We've got a little bit of football to discuss, basketball, baseball even.
Baseball, yeah.
And we get all of them? Football.
Right? Yeah. Well, it's got some football, some Atlanta Falcons football.
Yeah. So we've got everything for you on this show tonight. We appreciate you joining us. Sorry we couldn't go at 7:30. Went out to eat for my sister-in-law's birthday dinner at a Korean barbecue spot. Amazing. Neither one of these guys have had it, so I'm going to try to help put them on. We've got Mountain Man already in the building. We appreciate you, Mountain Man. Nick Mills as well. Good evening. How are you, my friend? Andy, as we do each and every show, how was your weekend, my friend?
It's pretty good. Been a little busy doing some things, but no, it's good. So just watched football. Basically, it's kind of sad watching good football when we're Falcons fans, and we're nowhere in the zip code of these teams that are playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no, all in all, it was good. So,
Edward, weekend.
Good. Yeah. I did something I've never done before today. I played 2 hours of tennis, won the match while it snowed and sleeted on us for 2 hours. Never done that before. It snowed and sleeted the entire match. Yeah. Now,
I wonder if you, well, no, you wouldn't have, because my in-laws said that it sleeted on them during their tennis match, but you wouldn't have played a team from way out here.
No. It was a local team, so no, certainly not. But yeah, it was and it was cold. I mean, once you get out there running around, it's not too bad. But yeah,
it's cold out there right now. Like, we walked out of that Korean spot. It was freezing.
The wind
is get really bad tomorrow and Tuesday as well. So hopefully you guys stay safe. And Marshmallow says, "Dang, thought you were on a hiatus when I missed you at 7:30." No, I just had to push it back.
It, Marsh.
Yeah. So leading off, as always, guys, Georgia football. There was a little bit of ruckus, if you will, on Friday that came out about Georgia football. I was lucky enough to be in the truck. I actually missed a little bit of it, but I picked up most of it. I was in the truck all day Friday, and Buck Ballou over at, what is it? Is he at 929 or 680?
680 the fan.
Is it 680?
680 the fan. He's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, 680. He comes on and says, "I've got some news about a coach." And he comes on and says, "Old Mike Bobo's stepping down for health reasons." Everybody's like, "Whoa." And then you had some big Twitter accounts start, putting out, because this is a side rant here. It's a total side rant. But you have these big Twitter accounts that want to break the news. They want the retweets, right?
Right.
And so they put it out and they say per him, but really they want that tweet to be retweeted and people just run with it, whether it's right or wrong, right? And our boss over here at UGA Sports, Ryan Abolsi, I don't know, 30 minutes later or so, came out and refuted that. And so there's a little bit there to, I guess, dissect in the sense of, I trust Roddy, right? I'm a ride or die with Roddy. Been here for 10 years, won't go anywhere else. There had to be, and I say this, right? There had to be some type of credible source for just, and I don't want to lean on it, but you don't go on the radio on Friday. You do a 1 hour show. Are you really that stiff for ratings that you're going to say that somebody is resigning due to health reasons? And then you come out, I don't want to jump too far, but you come out 2-3 hours later and say, "Hey, I hope the rumors aren't true." You're the one that made the rumors.
Yeah, you started it or something.
So it was just wild how that all went into play on Friday. What was your guys' take on it? Watching from the outside.
Well, Paul, even David Pollock was quoted, or he said the other night, he was like, "There's some rumors that some coaching staff's going to be changing." And then 2 days later, or a day later, then Buck Ballou says that, and then it's just like, if you're going to say something that specific, you heard something very specific, because maybe let's just say you would have heard, "Oh, Mike Bobo may step down for whatever," but not specifically, but he was like, for health purposes. So someone told him this. So I don't know what to believe. After Roddy was like, no, he said he searched and talked to anyone he could, and everyone says no. So I don't know, Eddie. I mean, that's a big rumor to just come out and say if you didn't hear that from someone very credible.
Yeah, well, I was actually in a sales meeting all week up in Harrah's, and I was in a meeting when this took place, so I missed it live, but my phone absolutely blew up. I mean, I was like, did Kirby die? I mean, that's how it was. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And I started reading the tweets, and I'm like you guys, though. Buck Bellew has been doing this for 25 years. I think he's been on the radio. He's not going to go out there and just say something and then come out tomorrow and say, well, I screwed up, guys. There's something.
He has done that before, though. There have been some Buck Nuggets before that have gone the wrong way.
Has there been one this big, though? Because this is pretty large. This is a big old matzo ball.
Large. I mean, it's one of those things where 10 a.m. Here's what happens. 10 a.m. Everybody in Atlanta is going to be tuning in to whatever station
tomorrow,
he's on, right?
Yeah. No doubt. I'm gonna be one of them. Yeah, that's exactly right. To hear what he says. So I understand what you're saying, Paul. Ratings, all that stuff, but Buck Bellew has got to be as close to the program as anybody. And I'm not refuting anything Roddy or others have come out and said that this is not true. I don't know. I don't know what's true and what's not. We're all on the outside. Andy and I are on the outside looking in. We don't know what's true and what's not. But let me put it this way. Would any of that surprise you guys if it comes up?
No,
of course not. No. So these have been the rumblings that we've kind of heard. Now, maybe it started on the dog vent. Who knows? Whatever. It doesn't matter. But these are the rumblings we have kind of heard all along. And I guess I'm just going to do wait and see. That's all we can do at this point. That sounds vanilla and stupid. Not like I don't have an opinion on it, but I don't know what to think at this point, right?
But he's not just going to make that up and say, you know what,
right.
I'm going on air today and I'm going to say one of the craziest rumors or whatever and just run with it. Nobody's going to do that. I don't think.
I agree. Don't you, Paul, that you don't just come out and run with something. Now maybe he had one source that told him this.
That's the problem. Maybe so.
Right.
So on stuff like this, maybe you got to triple source it before you put it out there.
Maybe he didn't choose to do that. Who knows?
Right.
But Paul, I give the guy a break, and I give all you guys in the media a break, because that's what this game has become. The first to come out with it, and you're right, gets retweeted. This guy broke the story. That's national attention all of a sudden on you as a reporter, provided you get it right? So, I mean, well, hell, I even say you might get it wrong and still get that kind of attention. You would, really. So it's the rush to be first out there with the information. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it involves Mike Bowe, and then you talk about health reasons and things like that. It's a little weird. I trust Roddy and what he said, so we'll see. Right? I think that there are going to be some coaching staff changes potentially. Mm-hmm. I think Kirby will probably wait for the national championship to be over, not to take the spotlight away from that. But
so I was going to ask you that, Paul. Is that what you think sort of the delay is? Because it's been really quiet. I know we had the junior day this weekend or whatever, so it's been really quiet out of Athens, and you would expect some changes. But then I saw someone was talking about Jared Curtis a minute ago. Like, what if Mike Bobo gets Jared Curtis to commit? And is that one of those deals where you say, oh, well, I committed to Bobo, but he's gone now. Like, there just seems like a lot of nothing's coming out right now. So maybe, I don't know. It just seems oddly quiet, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
It's oddly quiet for the Georgia Bulldogs and for the Atlanta Braves. So we're just getting used to the silence here.
Yeah.
Tuesday Power Hour. It's a good thing we're taking a 2-month hiatus, just because the silence is deafening. And we're trying to make this go. Before we get to our M. Jones, so early in the show, we'll do M. Jones here after UGA basketball. Unless you guys have anything else to talk about on for the football side of things. Junior day, but the rumors versus facts guys will break that down. Also, there's a bunch of stuff over on UGAsports.com about those guys that showed up. A lot of heavy hitters, though, and a lot of, I say, Tyler Atkinson. If you don't know the name, you need to get real familiar.
Not to give you all the insider information, go read what Anthony Dasher says, but just to sum it up, he basically says not only is this kid taking over football games, but he wins in life. The kid is just beyond everything you'd expect out of a junior in high school. Just a dream kid.
He is one of those. And it's tough, right? But I think he's one of those like every 10-year type player. Like he's really special kid, and wouldn't surprise me. I think right now he's ranked like 11th on Rivals. I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes top 5, which is crazy for a linebacker because what they base the rankings off of is you don't know if they base them off of where they think they'll be drafted in the NFL.
Right.
So having a top 5 kid at linebacker would be something really special.
Man, yeah, if you're a top 5 linebacker, and that's what you talk about, kind of like generational, like kind of like a Jalen Carter type guy that just takes over games, somebody. Yeah, I think Dasher had a huge article about him on there. So yeah, that's
was Roquan in the top 5?
No,
refresh my memory. No. I didn't think he was. Yeah.
No, you don't get many linebackers that high.
That's why I asked. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Not to dampen the mood, guys, but we do have to talk about UJ basketball. But we prefaced this last week. We said they could go 0-2 and not to dampen the mood. But I feel like the mood is dampened a little bit. I'm going to try to revive the spirits of the Eddie from
Garrett
Keys.
Who, by the way, was worse than me. Give me a little credit. I was more positive than Garrett Key.
Correct. So Dogs lost Wednesday. This was a tough one to Tennessee, 56-74. And then you turn around. Then you have to play Auburn at home. And they made it a game. It was 68-70. I mean, they had a chance there at the end.
If he hits that shot, guys, Asa Newell hits that shot, and we go to overtime, do we win that game? What do y'all
Who
think?
knows? I think you have plenty. You have momentum. You have momentum at that point.
Yeah,
does the momentum carry you through the whole overtime? That's tough.
Maybe not, but at least you have a shot. I mean, it's better to have a chance than not. So, I mean,
right.
I don't know.
7 of 20 from 3-point land, 35%. Not bad, but 9 of 23 free throws. That's tough. That's where you look at this. And then also the turnovers are a killer. It's we're far enough into the season now to where it is not a misnomer or it is a problem with this team. The turnovers are a problem. The 3-point shooting, is it a problem yet, guys? You can convince me either way. If it's a true problem or not, or if it's just they haven't got hot against the right team.
From me watching it, I think they kind of live and die by the free throw, right in 3-point. I think, and I think they aren't good enough at shooting the 3-point to live and die by that. So I just think they try to shoot too many from the outside. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. And I just don't think they're good enough to shoot, just like to live and die by it. Eddie.
Chris Taylor says less than 50% from the foul line is a problem in 9th grade ball. It is. It is.
No doubt. Well, I'll go back to Wednesday night and start there against Tennessee. I think they were up 1 in the half, going into half.
Yeah, 26-25. Yeah.
But I watched that game in the sports book at Harrah's, great place, by the way. And I just could see it coming. We were scrapping and doing everything we could to hang within, and we were ahead by a point. I said to the guy I was watching with, Tennessee goes on one run and this game is over, and that's exactly what happened in the second half. And
you could feel it in that Tennessee game, even though Georgia was up at the half. You were like, Tennessee's gonna,
they
like
were
you
just
said,
cold.
they got one run and this game's out of reach.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Now the Auburn game, I was very. Now that I've slept on it, because you guys know how emotional I get during the game, season's over.
No, not you.
Turn the program down. Yeah. Well, I'm a fan. It's short for fanatic. I keep having to remind you guys of that. But after sleeping on it, Paul, I was proud of the way they came back and fought with a really good basketball team. And this kid, Pettiford, I'd like to have him on our team raining threes down. Good Lord, was he good. We don't have that. Asa Newell is about the only one from a beyond three that you can kind of trust, and he's not that good beyond three. But this is something that really amazed me. Paul, you read about the turnovers, 12 that led to 14 points. Y'all know Auburn had 11 turnovers that led to 11 points for us, 12 points for us. So that was what I bring that up because without Broom, we get that. Their best player, probably one of the best players in the country, he's off the floor doing this every time they made a dang three-pointer. Annoying. But Auburn was there for the take. That's my point. They were there to be beaten with all.
Well, Georgia was in it. Georgia was in the game. That's big.
I understand, but this team, and I know they beat Kentucky a week or so ago, but this team has got to come up with a couple more big wins. And maybe it's Florida this weekend out at Florida, That's massive. I mean, obviously, you got to beat Arkansas this week.
Got to be
Arkansas. Do that one. You got.
Yeah.
I think that's must win to keep the deflation from really coming down a level.
Well, Arkansas is 0-5 in the conference. If they lose
that's what scares me.
Yeah, but then if you go look at the matchup index on ESPN, they're 65% chance to win that game.
Yeah, I saw that.
So you got to start stealing some of these wins. Where did that come from? And I was just so sick after watching that game. You turn on Sports Center, every show all day today would have led with the Georgia Bulldogs upsetting number 1 Auburn. I was just so ready to embrace that. Wouldn't that have been fun? But like I said, I give them credit. They're still kind of learning, and Ace has got to be more involved. I don't care how they do it, what they do. Get Asa Newell the basketball. They started to do that in the second half, but in the first half, he hardly touched the ball, it seemed like, and they were really corralling him well when he did. So he's your best player. He's got to be involved in almost every possession.
It's almost like you paid Phyllis from South Lumpkin to say this, Eddie, but where was Somto the last 5 minutes against Auburn? Eddie was screaming up and down about this one, and I had to calm him down. I said, Edward.
He did say Edward. He did. Yes, it was.
Edward.
My mother and Paul call me Edward. That's nice.
I said, Edward, look, Auburn was running a smaller lineup. If you have Somto in there, it potentially creates a mismatch for you. They were trying to play him out. They were trying to bring him out of the paint. It doesn't help you in that scenario. Now, I agree. He is a difference maker. I think he needs to see the floor more. And look, Justin Abson, he didn't get much run in the first few SEC games, conference games. But he's kind of a difference maker in there.
He's developing into a really good player. Yes.
But I agree with you, Eddie. You need to let Asa play more. There was too many times where there's 5 to 6 minute stretches that Asa's not in the game.
Right.
And I don't think you can have a winning team with him not like out of the 40 minutes a game, he should be playing like 32, 33. Like it should be with the amount of breaks that they get, with the amount of TV timeouts. He should be playing 32, 33 minutes a game, and he's your best player, and he's different out there. And it's just, it's kind of depressing when you see this lineup that Mike White throws out there and it doesn't have Asa Newell or it doesn't have, Somto in there. And it's 3 guards that just want to dribble around the 3. Like there was so many times where the offense just wouldn't get going. It was just pass it around the outside of the 3-point line, and then
you look up, there's 6 seconds left to shoot the ball, and you're like, oh my God, it's panic time. Yeah, and
then throw up a crazy shot or
right.
Yeah, it's just there's too many of those, and this team's good.
Yes,
like I've said it since the beginning. This is a good team, and if you find, I don't get paid enough to know what the right lineup is, right? Yeah. But I feel like the lineups just haven't set well together, if that makes sense.
You got to have your best players in the game. In basketball, you've got to live and die by the sword, and those guys have got to be in there.
It's just they have the guys. It's just you got to find the right rotation. I don't know what that rotation is.
That's exactly why I'm with Phyllis. I understand what you're saying, Paul. They kept beating us on that backdoor screen and catching Somto up. I get that. But if you just said it, live by the sword, die by the sword. He's the sword underneath. He alters shots. He gets you big rebounds. He's a big presence in there, and he's better than Abson. Okay, God love Abson. I love what he's done, but Somto's better than he is, and he needs to be in the game more. And Paul, to what you said, okay, he was getting killed. They put him back in the game with 1:50 left. So if he was that atrocious, why even put him back in the game at all? So I didn't like that, but I understand where you came from on that.
Alex Page says, is Blue the only one who's considered a pure shooter? I don't know if you would consider him a pure. He's a volume shooter, and I do appreciate that from him. He's not afraid to shoot the ball. There's plenty of the guys on this team that it feels like are afraid to shoot the ball. He's not one of them.
No, he'll pull up. Yeah, he'll pull it up.
He'll pull up, and right or wrong, right? But at least he'll do it. There's been so many times where it's like, dude, you have a wide open 3, but then you want to pump fake and try to go around him, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, but Blue will do like he did yesterday. He'll put up 2 great 3-pointers, like here we go, and then 4 times in a row he'll turn the ball over. But 4 possessions in a row.
But Blue also is really good at like defensive rebounding and playing defense.
He is.
So
he is.
There's not besides Asa, there's not a complete player on this team, but that's what you get paid millions of dollars to find out how you can play these guys together is what I'm getting at there. So in the show notes here, it says, is Arkansas a must win with Florida on the road Saturday?
Yes.
And Arkansas is 11-7, 0-5 in the conference. This is a must win.
If you lose to Arkansas, you're losing to Florida. I mean,
I think you're right.
This is probably the first game where I look at it and go, all right, you have to win this game. The first few in the SEC, it's like, all right, if you win this game, it's a positive, right? You beat Kentucky, oh hell yeah, nobody's really expecting that. You went down to the wire with Auburn, nobody's expecting that. You lose to Arkansas, that's 11-7. That's where, and I'm afraid, if they do lose, Eddie and Andy, that's where this train starts really going downhill. And I don't want it to, because I like watching this team, but this is the type of game that really kind of shows, hey, can we bounce back from almost beating Auburn and getting our butts beat by Tennessee, or are we going to continue downward?
If they lose to Arkansas, they'll go down to Florida and lose that game. Like, that's a hard place to play at anyway. But then you got South Carolina, they're coming to Athens, but then you go to Tuscaloosa. Then you got, it's going to be tough. They've got to win. Arkansas is a must win. You're right. Yeah. You're like Chris was saying.
White socks and black shoes. AP. That drives me crazy. He says also Arkansas Sales talent is probably more talented team between them and UGA. Yeah. Like, let's not forget Calipari's coaching that team. He brought some dudes in over there. This isn't a slack team. And if you go look at the ESPN matchup predictor, like I already said, they've got Arkansas win this game 65% of the time.
And they're going to beat somebody. They're going to get an SEC win. And this is not a great spot for Georgia.
That's exactly it, Andy. This is not a good spot to be in right here. No. I hope they win, because covering UGA basketball is fun. Watching these guys play basketball is fun. But going on the road to Arkansas, 9:00.
That's a tough game. That's a tough time. Yeah, that's going to be, if they need that. They need it bad. That's a must win. So like you said, that could be the tipping point of the season.
The SEC is just too good. You got to win these games against teams that aren't ranked, regardless if they're a better team than you. If they're not ranked and they're not ahead of you, you got to beat them. So that's where we're at with UGA basketball. Who knows what the future holds for it, but hopefully they can continue just keep treading water, if you will, in the SEC. You don't have to be perfect, but just finish 500. You're 7, 8, 9 seed in the tourney, and then whatever happens there can get you. Chris Hader says, what's the win total to get you in the tournament?
That's what I was just looking at. It's funny. I think 14-4. I'm going to say 20 wins. You get 20. I don't know what the loss would be there, but I think 20 wins in the SEC get you in. Agree or disagree?
There's 12 games left, so you would go 6-6, right? So you'd be
20-10. Yeah. Maybe 21-9.
Normally 20 is the number, right?
That's probably a play-in game, maybe, right?
Yeah,
no, I think 20. If you finish, because what is Georgia right now in conference?
In conference are 2-3, and they're overall 14-4. And I saw that Scott Anderson wrote 22, and that's kind of the number I always thought was 22.
22 is tough. That's gonna be tough. Trying to find 22 here. Trying to find. So you got to win 8 out of 12, right? That's what you got left. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You got 13 games left. So you have to win 8 out of 13.
And Garrett said 7. So 7 gets you 21. So if that's the case, so yeah, you're right.
He said 7 SEC wins probably get you in there this year. So that would be
okay. So 5
19,
and then 5
19. 10 conference wins, Alex Page says. That's a lot, man.
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't know if I can get there. Because they would have to get 8. Yeah, that's tough.
But I think there's some winnable games still left on the schedule for sure.
Sure. And like I said, you got to sneak one. You got to beat Florida, or you got to beat Bama on the road, right? You got to get
right. So let's just go through it. Just go through it real quick. Arkansas, let's say they win that one. Okay. Florida, let's say that's a loss.
That's a loss.
Andy, keep up with this for me.
Hang on.
South Carolina, we're going to say that's a win. Alabama at Alabama, that's a loss. LSU at Georgia, we'll take that as a win. You guys can stop me if you disagree with any of these. Mississippi State at home,
it's a loss.
Okay, I'll give it to you, Eddie. Then you got to go to Texas A&M.
That's 2 pretty evenly matched teams.
I'll give it Texas A&M. That's a loss.
Yeah.
Georgia, Missouri, give it to Georgia. Then you got to go to Auburn.
Yeah, go to Auburn.
At Auburn, Yeah, we're not winning that. Florida at home.
Florida at home.
Maybe you get the juice there.
So in between Florida, so let's say this. Let's split them. Mississippi State and Florida, they take one of those. Let's just say that.
Okay.
Georgia at Texas, we'll say they take that.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia at South Carolina, we'll say they take that, and Vandy, they take that. So
how many?
Where's that? I feel like that's pretty good. That's like the most optimistic.
Oh, that's probably the most optimistic because I'm pretty sure you just said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think you said 8 wins.
Yeah.
So it's 12 wins.
Yeah. You said 8 wins. Yeah. And
there's keys.
And 5 losses. Yeah. There's 13 to go. Yeah. 8 and 5 is what you said. Yeah. Garrett Keith,
that's 22 wins. That's
a number 1 seed in the tournament.
No, that's probably a 5 or 6 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably 5 or 6 with that.
Yeah.
I don't know, boys. That's tough.
That's tough.
I think you were generous on some of those wins. So.
But
you take 2 of those away, right? You're right at 20, just like I said. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that gives you. There is some moves. There are some moves that can be had there. So, real quick, because we don't have M. Jones player of the game because none of the games really.
Yeah, we got beat by Notre Dame. That's why we
the
don't.
Dogs that are currently playing are in Philadelphia. That's where they are.
Right. Dude, okay. Did y'all see him pick up Matthew Stafford like he did?
Oh yeah, just like he did Jaden Daniels. And then he turned around and won the game for him. The game for him.
Is it not sad to watch those guys play?
Him and Nolan Smith. It's disgusting.
And we could have them right down in Atlanta, and we just said, you know what?
3 sacks between them, 2 fumbles recovered. 3 tackles for loss. And just think about this. Nakobe Dean's out for the season.
Yeah. And he was having his breakout year.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. It's just disgusting.
Just move on, guys. Just move on. Just stop. It hurts. It hurts.
No, I'm happy for him. I'll put it that way. I was really happy. And, I was rooting for Stafford. I love Stafford. I didn't want to see I hate Philadelphia. Yeah. But when Jalen Carter did that, I was really happy for Carter.
Dude, I love Jalen Carter, man. That dude, he's my guy.
Did y'all see the beginning of the game when Nolan Smith ran in with Nakobe Dean's jersey up in the air? I mean, how cool is that?
Did you see the beginning of the game where Jared Verse was walking on the Philly sideline and Jalen said, "Hey, let's bet our championship money on this. Who wins?" And Verse wouldn't do it.
Yep.
I love all that. That's my juice right there. You can carry the jersey in for Nakobe. That's like for like I don't know. Jalen Carter's like the villain. I like the villain mentality on the field where he's like, "Hey, let's go paycheck for paycheck right here. Let's put your money where your mouth is." And then came out and played like that. Speaking of putting your money where your mouth is, it's going to get cold, guys. It's getting cold.
It's got there. It's not going.
It's cold now.
It's cold now. And the guys over at mjoneshvac.com, mjoneshvac.com have you covered if you're in the Metro Atlanta area. They've got you covered for a numerous amount of things, including your heat and cooling. They do residential. Also, you show up to the office tomorrow. Office isn't turning on. They do commercial as well. So make sure to shout these guys out. mjoneshvac.com. They've got the phone number there. You can also email both the owners as well. And then if you put in here with the connect with us, your first, last name, email address, phone number, and a message that says UGAsports.com. Get you 5% off of your new installs and also 10% off of all your repairs. This week, gentlemen, we didn't have an M. Jones player of the game or an M. Jones play of the game. Instead, Andy, what do we have?
Well, I was thinking, what if we did an M. Jones wish list, one wish, and you can make it of any sport for the 2025 year. You can have for Georgia football, Georgia basketball, Atlanta Braves baseball, Atlanta Falcons, the whoever, the Hawks, whatever.
Okay. All right. We have to preface this because I feel like everybody's just going to pick a Georgia football championship.
No, I'm not picking that.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's the low-hanging fruit we try to avoid.
Yeah,
what I'm getting at is we have to take a championship out of it, right?
Yeah,
that's fair, and that's not what mine is.
For any of them, that's very low-hanging fruit, and it just it takes away from.
Andy, if he read the show notes before the show, we could have had all these rules in place.
It's okay.
He's of the show, but
he's eating Korean barbecue, and we were not. But whatever,
exactly. Look, sometimes it's best to just go on the fly, baby.
There we go.
It's best to go on the fly.
Well, Eddie.
So
How about
Eddie? Since you've got yours, Eddie,
got
set the tone, if you will, for our what was it again, Andy? What did you
our
call it?
M. Jones wish of the year.
Wish of the year.
Wish of the year. Okay, I like this. Okay.
My wish of the year, and I don't care who it is, Elon Musk, Tyler Perry, I don't care. I need a new owner for my beloved Atlanta Falcons, and I need that new owner to come in and clean house. Rich McKay, bye-bye. Terry Fontenot, bye-bye. Just clean ass house. Keep the players you got. I want a new owner for my franchise because I'm sick and tired of Arthur Blank. He's done. Enough. Go away.
Tyler Perry to be excellent. I think he would buy them. He's got a ton of money. He would buy them and let someone run them. Yeah,
that's actually not a bad pick, right? I don't know. Does he have enough money to buy them though? I mean, I'm not in the.
I don't know what his net worth is. I'd have to. Yeah, who knows?
I don't either. But he
ain't selling it for cheap. There's no doubt about that. Or what about the Spanx chick? Well, she could probably afford it too, right?
Chris Taylor says 0 drop total. He'd like that. Scott Anderson says Hawks in the NBA Finals.
Oh, that's a good one.
The little show notes shit talk. Yeah, it happens every week, Chris. Every week. Phyllis from South Lumpkin says Braves signed Trevor.
I like that. I love that.
That's a good one, Phyllis.
Oh, that's great.
Good one.
See, I like these. They're not crazy wishes. They're little like appetizers, if you will. We're not going for the full entree here, which would take away from this. Andy, what you got?
I want the Georgia Bulldogs, the football team, to get dominant O-line and defensive line again. That's what I want. That's my wish, is dominant defense or dominant lines of scrimmage, because I just think that's where we took a step back. Yeah. Yep. So that's what I want. Dominant lines of scrimmage. That is my wish.
Okay. So you want to get back to the road graders?
Yes. I want to get back to I want Jalen Carter on the defense, and I just want him to just wreak havoc like he's doing in the NFL.
You might have that coming in next year.
And I want to see.
You might
I just want to see.
Yeah, you very well could be getting your wish, at least on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side of the ball, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know about that one.
Yeah. My wish, Georgia Bulldog basketball to win their first game in March Madness. So whatever the first game is.
I like that.
So if they're a 10 seed, 7 seed, whatever, I want to go to my bracket, see Georgia there, and I can at least push them on to the round of 32.
The next round.
And play to go to the Sweet 16. How cool would that be? I'm not saying we win or lose it, but just to play that game to get to the Sweet 16. Wow, that would be fun. I feel like the wish of saying take them to the Sweet 16 is a little bit too far. You know, like we said, I think it's a little too far. But just win the first one. The first one. And then have a chance. We haven't been there. I mean, we haven't been there in how many years?
Because the March Madness, you play Thursday night and then Saturday night or Friday and Sunday.
That's right.
So give Georgia fans a chance on that Saturday or Sunday night to potentially go to the Sweet 16. That's my wish.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex bought into this team.
One.
Yeah,
check out Alex. Alex Page has a great one too.
Where's
Falcons take a dog defensive end in the first round. Fine. I'm good with it.
Want that, Alex?
I just want a dog on the Falcons.
There's only one to take, and he's not going to be there.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen? Speaking of, have you guys seen the reports? And we knew this was going to happen. Jalen Walker is
the truth. They're saying he's the truth. Like, dude may go top 5. Like,
I saw a tweet that said he's the closest thing to Micah Parsons since Micah Parsons.
I saw that. If he's the closest thing, he'll go top 5. I
think he will anyway.
If he's the closest thing to Micah Parsons, then Georgia defensive coaches need to really
unless he just lays an egg at the combine, and I don't see that.
That dude is right.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that's the only way he would drop as a player.
No, I think the only way he drops is if he gets injured. He's a freak. I mean, he's a freak athlete. Yeah, he's a freak athlete. And if they're looking at him saying Micah Parsons, they are looking at this guy. And Paul, you're right though. If he goes if he's Micah Parsons and somehow he wasn't Micah Parsons,
right?
That's one of those look in the mirror and say, okay, what did we do and what do we need to change? Because that is one of those gut check moments. Yeah.
If this kid, if they start comping him to Micah Parsons, and it's like, excuse me,
wait a minute, what?
He played like a year here at Georgia, and they couldn't get him on the field before that. You said Micah Parsons?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, Paul. Yeah, that's a gut check.
Scott Anderson says his wish is Dogs play Miami in the playoffs in Athens. Boy.
Ooh. Wow. That is really good. I like that a lot. That's
and you know who else likes that? You know who else likes that a lot? ESPN.
Oh God, they would love that.
Man, the network. That's a great wish. Well played, Scott. That's awesome.
Yeah, you win. Yours is better than all of ours.
Really
Dogs play Miami in the playoffs in Athens. Carson Beck comes back.
Could you imagine a Friday night under the lights? Carson Beck.
I just can't imagine Miami or anyone being a playoff game at home in Sanford Stadium.
I got goosebumps. Wow. I literally just got goosebumps. That would be, man. You want to talk about a game? And okay, let's. This is kind of off the show notes here, but next year, Georgia got the bye with the SEC championship game this year. Then they missed that home playoff game. Would you rather them next? Because we talked about this during the season, and it really, played out better than Georgia could have hoped for, I think. Would you rather them not play an SEC championship game, but then you get that home game experience after watching that home game experience for those other 4 schools?
Do you really want me to answer this? You know my answer.
Go ahead, sir.
Playing it all dang year. No, I don't. I want no part of that SEC championship. Nothing.
So you want that home?
Yes, I told you guys that from the beginning of the year. I want to go 10-2. No, let Alabama and Texas have that SEC championship. That was my prediction this year. Sit at home, rest, get that home game. That's what I wanted. And I want the SEC championship. Great. Did y'all enjoy that parade for that championship this year?
I knew that was coming.
I mean, okay, we can all be proud of it. Did you buy any SEC gear this year? SEC champs 20,000.
Oh, that's wow. I haven't seen a single SEC championship shirt anywhere. Publix, Target, nobody's wearing them around.
It was fun as hell the night it happened. I was going bananas.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
And it all ended when you lost to Notre Dame. It all went away.
So you want that home playoff game?
Absolutely. Sit at home, be like Tennessee this year, and just sit at home, smoke cigars, and wait for your home game. That's what I want.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know. That's tough. That's a tough call. That way, I do.
You guys would take the SEC championship, really?
I mean,
well, Chris Taylor says, "Look, we'll raise a banner, and there won't be a banner for the first round win."
That's a very good point, Chris Taylor. I
yeah, that there.
And in his next comment, there you go.
He says, "Don't be like Tennessee." I didn't mean to click on Garrett Key's comment, but since it's up here, I guess we have to. I was trying to take Chris Taylor.
You could click off of it, can't you?
I could click off of it, but we'll just read it.
But it means a lot.
He says, "Love looking at it."
I know it means a lot. Go ahead, read it.
He says, "Love looking at it every day." First off, that sentence in and of itself. You got to give me some more context before you put a period there. I don't know what you're talking about, Key. Yeah, really. Love looking at it every day. Brings me great pride is the next sentence. Again, what is he talking about? Who knows, right? Is he talking about his foot? What is he talking about here? Conference championships have always meant a lot to me, though. I'm odd. I know. Yes. The way that you phrased this was a little wild, too.
So it's... Apparently, it's very large. I didn't mean it every day.
That's on me.
Yeah, and a lot of times he's taking pictures with no clothes or whatever. So
Chris says this is about football. I don't know, brother. That's what I'm saying.
We're not sure.
We need to get that off. And
it's just out in the ether. Just leave it out there.
We need to add CT into our group text, and he'll see what all this Garrett sends.
CT is my insurance agent, man. I can't have him reading some of the stuff you guys say, man. He's gonna drop
He'll cancel you tomorrow.
He's gonna drop my business policy, man. I'm not gonna be able to do any more work. Speaking of doing some work, though, the Falcons did some work. I guess
did they do some work? Did they really?
I was pretty distraught about this one, but at the same time, I realized something, and Eddie's been saying this for a long time, and Andy has as well. Maybe I just shouldn't care as much about these Falcons. Maybe it just shouldn't bother me at all. What we're talking about here. Unlike Garrett, we're leaving the subject till the end. Jeff Ulbrich is the new defensive coordinator if the name sounds familiar, the one thing that really he's been with the Falcons 2015 to 2020. The one thing I remember from Jeff Ulbrich the most, by far, bar none, Roquan Smith commits to UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Ulbrich is there. Jeff Ulbrich is his linebacker coach. Word gets out that Jeff Ulbrich is leaving for the Falcons.
Yep.
Roquan calls Jeff Ulbrich. Jeff Ulbrich says, "Nah, man, I'm staying right here. Go ahead and sign with the Bruins." Somehow, some way, Kirby was able to say, "Look, man, he's leaving. You need to sign with Georgia." He lied to Roquan. 2 days later, after signing day, I think it was, went to the Falcons, where he was going to be the next coach. And that's what I remember from him. Just integrity wasn't there.
Yep.
And he was at the Falcons from 2015 to 2020. And was the DC, catch this, for the 2020 season with Raheem Morris, was promoted to interim head coach. So again, it's like we took one of those old tires out back and just said, hey, let's retread this thing and put it back out there on the road. No reason to switch it up. I know that tire ran flat on you numerous times.
Let's try it again.
So let's retread it and just try it again. I'm done. I'll say it now. I'm done caring about this team. I truly am. And Eddie says it's the owner. Eddie's got this long rant, Arthur Blank. I think it's a numerous amount of things. I don't care anymore. They've lost me. Now, can they get me back? I don't know. I mean, I like watching, Michael Penix
Bijan,
and Drake
Michael
London
Penix.
and Bijan. I like them. Yeah. But at the same time, my Sunday, I'll tell you right now, my Sundays aren't going to revolve around 1:00 sitting on the couch watching this team. No. Not going to happen.
And that's kind of how I've gotten over I guess the last 4 or 5 years, really. It's because you see it happen over and over. Ever since they had the Super Bowl and lost it 28-3, ever since then, it's been the same thing. And they're drafting in that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that mid part of the draft every year. And even when
they better this year, Andy, we're at 15.
15. Oh, wow. And that's the thing. Like, they're going to draft 15 and they're going to pick someone that they should not take. And they're going to do the same thing every year. And again, you sign a $200 million quarterback. Okay, fine. That's great. Go draft the guy some help. Or how about don't sign the $200 million quarterback? Use that money to help the rookie who clearly is Michael Penix. Looks like he's the real deal. And why not get him some help? Why not get him some offensive linemen? Why not draft Penny Sewell instead of drafting that idiot from Florida who sucks? So it's like, it's the same thing. I've given up on letting it. The Atlanta Braves and the Georgia Bulldogs, they bother me. Outside of that, it's just another day because you expect it. I mean,
well, it's going to bother me till eternity because this is the team I grew up with. I still love the Falcons. I'm angry at Arthur Blank because I think it's his fault, top to bottom. This is a dysfunctional organization, Paul, and that's why Jeff Ulbrich is coming back to the fold because he knows how dysfunctional it is. Wink Martindale probably would have been a phenomenal hire.
Oh, man, they had the guy. They could have got it.
Dennis Allen,
too. It's a dysfunctional franchise, and nobody – they interviewed him. Doesn't mean – they probably made him an offer. Doesn't mean he's going to come, okay?
Right.
And I think this is part of the reason Bill Belichick did not want to come here. Well, I think they closed the door on him because they know it's a dysfunctional – program, and they all have to be yes men to Arthur Blank. And Jeff Ulbrich has been here. He knows how to be a yes man to Arthur Blank. Who in their right mind hires a head coach first and then a GM behind him? Because that's what they did with Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith. They did it in reverse. What the hell is that? And Terry Fontenot is sitting here going, Raheem's not my guy. Okay. Now maybe Jeff Ulbrich is, I don't know. But this is throwing deck chairs off the Titanic. You said it, Andy. They're going to make stupid moves in the draft. They're going to make stupid moves with the, $5 million they have in the offseason so they got no more cap room left.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a continuation of the same thing every doggone year with a little bit of fun here and there, Paul, with Michael Penix and Bijan, and watching Drake London make some plays. There'll be some fun here and there, but they're going to suck us all back in and then poot us out just like they always do. Until Tyler Perry buys the team.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because you had a little bit of hope, right? That it was like, all right, maybe they'll go get it. Yeah, maybe they'll go get a defensive coordinator that's not tied to this coaching staff. That it's almost like you were hoping that they would go get Todd Monken like Kirby did. Didn't have any ties. It was just like, all right, Todd, go run the offense, brother. We'll leave you be. Like, I wanted to see Robert Saleh and be like, all right, Robert.
Oh, yeah.
Defense is yours, man. We'll take care of the offense. We feel like we can turn this offense into a 30-point per game offense, 25, 30-point per game offense. You take care of the defense. It's not the case. And
can I throw one more thing in? I got a guy that works for me. He was a dyed-in-the-wool Jets fan. He lives and dies with the Jets. He did. I texted him and asked him about this hire, and he said he is a horrible head coach. He's a really good defensive coordinator. Now, I know the bar is really low because Jimmy Lake was horrible. So maybe it is a slight upgrade because this guy's got experience. He's done it before. Maybe it's a slight upgrade from Jimmy Lake, who was a disaster.
Maybe. I don't know.
Says if they had won a playoff game, would that narrative change? Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
They made it to the playoffs, yeah, but they instead crapped the bed at the end of the season, and we had to watch. Now we're watching Washington with Dan Quinn go into the NFC Championship game with a rookie quarterback. That Washington team is not better than this Falcons team. Top to bottom,
we had them beat.
This Falcons team has much more star power to its roster than that team does, and they're in the NFC Championship game with your head coach that you fired after 28-3. Moving on. The Atlanta Braves, God, they're. I mean,
good. This is going to help in the mood.
Yeah. Talking about just least the Falcons did something. The Atlanta Braves, we're just sitting there poking a dead horse. Like, hey, can you move, please? Can you do something?
But so I got this was going to be my M. Jones. I almost had it as my M. Jones wish of the year. Can the Major League Baseball not step in and say, okay, the Los Angeles Dodgers can't sign everyone. They are getting everyone. Like at this point, everyone's playing for second. And that's, I've kind of come to the realization that, I'm not too upset that the Braves aren't signing guys, because what's the point? The Dodgers have, like, people are talking about like the best rotation ever. Like they're talking about the best lineup ever, like the best bullpen ever. Like if you have the best of those three ever, what does that tell you? So is there not something that MLB can do and say, okay, I know they're not doing anything illegal, but there's got to be something.
Well, I'll throw it back to you this way, Andy. Why, if the Dodgers formula, and it worked this year, they won a World Series. I'm not taking that away from them, but I'll just go to the deferred payment because that's kind of what you're getting at. The way they did this weird deal with Ohtani, and they basically got away with murder. It was legal, but
it's legal. Yeah.
Why are other teams not doing the same type of thing? If it's a magic formula for the Mets to finally break through, why aren't they signing massive players and deferring a payment like that?
I don't know.
No one else is doing this.
And Bill Shanks talked about it on his show, and he talked about with them signing Ohtani, and they were like, the amount of money that they've raised because of his fan base is covered his contract already, so it doesn't matter about the deferred money.
I said that all along. If you sign it, when we were in the mix, Braves signed Ohtani, it pays for itself, and it would have paid for itself in this year. This
year easily, they would have had that contract would have been completely paid for, and it would have just been printing money.
It's already, the Dodgers have already paid for that thing in jersey sales.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Just in jersey sales, it's already paid for. It's already done.
That's how they're signed, and then they just signed the picture from, I guess, was he from Japan?
One we were talking about. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, that one.
They signed him. So they're adding to their Asian population, their Asian fan base. Mm-hmm. And why didn't the Braves do that? That could have, here on the East Coast, we could have been that team. And
they got Roki Sasaki, and then they just signed Tanner Scott.
72 million or something.
72 million came across the
wire.
We
talked about him with Bill last week, remember?
Yeah,
he was kind of like, that's kind of we'd like to have him setting up for Iglesias.
But then all of us were like, oh man, I don't know, that price tag's pretty high. And then the Dodgers are like, screw a price tag.
Who cares?
But they're printing money.
At the end of the day, if you win a World Series, it doesn't matter. You're going to get that money back tenfold. And that's what the Dodgers are looking at. And that's problem.
What I keep saying about Liberty Media. They're a publicly owned company. Do they not understand? They won a World Series on the cheap. I'll put it that way, quote unquote. They did. And now they think they can do that every year. That's not how you win. But my goodness, didn't they see the huge windfall that they got from that World Series champ? The next year sold out every game.
Crazy.
I mean, it just went through the roof. Now it's falling off. When are they going to get a clue or care that a World Series helps the entire organization? It just drives me crazy.
So we're sitting here, like you said, the Dodgers are buying everyone. And Yeah. Is it even possible for another team to compete?
I don't think so.
So, like you said, Andy, and you made a very, very good point. If I'm AA, yeah, man, I mean, what do you guys want me to do? You guys want me to compete for third place, fourth place? You guys, because look, I'll go out there, I'll go spend some money on some guys, but I'm not bringing in the same guys the Dodgers are getting. If you want me to, I'll go do it.
And let's be honest, we all know it. AA's limited on what he can do anyway.
He is. But and I do think Bill was right about trying to get under the luxury tax. I do think that's what they're attempting. But so Braves are nothing but a tax write. Yeah. But if they're trying to get under that luxury tax, and if they know like, okay, we can't go out and sign these ace pitchers and the best hitters, so why not just try to develop the young guys for the next year or two, and then maybe you can sort of cycle through the Dodgers. I don't know. Maybe I think that's what they're thinking, because
here's Chris Taylor makes a good point. He says, yes. Looking how many years down the road, how many years realistically does this core have to? Now I know they're signed. They've got Acuna signed for 30 years and Ozzie Albies for a lifetime deal. I mean, they've got all these guys, right? But realistically, how many more years do you have of this core of Acuna, Michael Harris, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies? What? You got maybe 3 more years before some of those guys. I mean, 3 years I feel like would be pretty high. If you get 3 more years of solid production out of all 5 of those guys, it's probably pretty good.
And I'll throw this out. Nobody wants to talk about it or think about it. I could see one of these players, Acuna, Albies, holding out and saying,
Ronald
around the league, saying, "Wait a minute, I'm one of the best players in the majors, and this is what I'm getting paid. I'm sitting out." And I think it's going to rear its ugly head.
If Ronald Acuna comes back,
not necessarily him, I'm just saying somebody.
That's, to me, he's the one that's gone. That would be the issue, because his contract, he's making $17 million a year, and the Braves have club option in 2027, 2028, and then he's a unrestricted free agent in 2029. But if he's only making $17 million a year, let's say he comes back this year, he gets healthy, and then he comes out next year in the 2026 season, he says, "I'm not playing for $17 million. I want 30."
Right.
You give the man his money.
You do, and because you
do. But will the Braves do that? I don't know.
Or would they trade him? That's the problem.
Right.
You're getting to that point.
Because you got to think about those things,
dude. If they traded Acuna after letting Freeman, like, no way, man.
Here's the thing: when Freddie Freeman left, that right there told me nobody is off the books. Because
let me ask you this question. I thought about this over the weekend going into this show. I think since 28-3, the Falcons have been in an absolute decline. Okay?
Yes.
They've been on a hill going down. They've been on a road going downhill. Did the Braves peak when they won Game 6 in Houston? I know that's hard to answer because we're only 3 years removed?
3 years away. Yeah.
What have we got to show for it since then? We've lost player after player. We've lost heartbreaking games to the Phillies over and over. It seems like.
I guess the opposite side of that is how many teams would kill to have won that World Series and then kind of be where the Braves are right now.
Oh, and I saw win-loss record predictions as of today after the Dodgers signed Stein Scott, or they had the Braves predicted to win 93 games.
Jeez.
If this team wins,
what was that in the NL East? Where were they ranked with that?
I had them number one. Hang on. I'll find that.
I'm sorry. The Braves, as constituted today, are a third-place team in the NL. They are.
The NL East, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
NL East. Sorry.
Let me find it.
Let's see. There was a good comment here I wanted to get back to, but I missed it. Where is it? Oh,
it was
Corey Carter. Corey Carter says Tyler Perry has reported net worth of $1.4 billion, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
I don't know what the Falcons are worth. They're probably worth $1 billion.
I think that stadium costs
it's more than that.
I guess more than $1 billion. Yeah.
Let's see. Falcon. How would I even look that up? Falcons franchise cost.
Yeah, I guess
worth. Let's see.
But you're right. You have to include the stadium in that, right, Andy?
Is the value for the Falcons, which they say the value is higher than the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Vikings. Just looking at this, $4 billion.
Wow.
As of August 2023, the Atlanta Falcons franchise was worth $4.7 billion, according to Forbes. This was a 17.5 increase from the previous year when the team was valued at $4 billion. So $4.7 billion.
I bet the stadium is part of that deal, though.
Are there any guys around Georgia guys or gals that have $4.7 billion to buy this team? So there's your answer, Eddie. It's
just be a collaborative effort. That's what they love in Flowery Brand. So they would just do that with the ownership, right?
Yeah. Okay, guys. As of today, for the betting odds for the for baseball, the Atlanta Braves betting over under is 93.5, and the Dodgers are 103.5. The Yankees are 93.5, but after the Braves, the New York Mets are 91.5, and the Phillies are 91.5. So
I'm sorry. If you had to put a gun to my head, I'm taking the under.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So according to Vegas,
yes,
the Braves are the number one team in the NL East.
Bet MGM, FanDuel, yeah. So right now they have them 93.5.
That blows my mind. I can't believe that.
I saw it posted today on Twitter. I was like, what the heck? I was like, did I read that right? So
with the Mets and Phillies both being 91.5.
Yes.
I can't believe that.
I mean, if I was,
they both got better. We haven't done anything.
We've gotten worse.
We're banking on 2 injured players is what we're doing.
I mean, we just lost. You're losing your setup men. You're losing everybody. We haven't signed anybody, and now we're down to like 3 starters. I mean, yeah.
Damn. Chris Sayer says Blank purchased it for $545 million. Damn. Talk about a little return on your investment.
Yeah, he's right. This is not a failure to Arthur Blank.
Oh, no. He's definitely
figures. Yeah, it's an absolute success. Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's the NFL in general, though. When all those guys bought those teams 30 years ago, I mean, they've skyrocketed, and it's only going to. It's what's crazy is like that 4.7 number sounds big now. 5 years from now, it's going to be like 10. The NFL is the biggest thing going. The NFL will be. I know you like your British soccer, Eddie. It's going to be really close to that, if not overtaking that.
If they bought it for 545, let's say in 5 years the Blank family decides to get out of it, what's he going to sell it for then? 7-8 billion?
Let's say today.
Okay, can you sell it for $5 billion today?
Yeah. Oh
yeah. I think
so. If that's the case, I mean, he would. I mean, you're talking $4 billion profit or something. I mean, I know there's a lot that goes into it, but
yeah.
He's not bad.
Just out of curiosity,
he's so generous with the $4 hot dogs, though, guys. It's just $3 beers.
I do love a good hot dog.
What a man!
Let's see the Okay, so here's
Alex Page asked the same thing.
This one was kind of wild because the Washington Commanders were the last NFL franchise to be sold in 2023. Mm-hmm. They bought this guy. Who is this guy? Josh Harris also owns the New Jersey Devils and Philadelphia 76ers.
Yes. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Dear God.
I mean,
so he's got a team in New Jersey, Philly, and now he owns the Washington Commanders. He bought the Washington Commanders for $6 billion. And that was on kind of a low because Dan Snyder was getting kind of kicked out with the sexual allegations. So he kind of got it for the cheap, if you will.
Well, I saw that. Alex Page asked about the Denver Broncos, and they sold for $4.65 billion in August 9th, 2022, and that was a record price at the time. So,
yeah, I mean, Dallas Cowboys right now, the valuation on them is $11 billion.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Second is the Los Angeles Rams with $8 billion.
I'm surprised.
But Los Angeles, though, so I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. And they got a new stadium too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Give a shout out to KC over there. Yeah.
KC with the $1.99 says Blank part owner. There are 4 limited owners.
Right. Yeah, but they're
minority owners too. Yeah.
Corey Carter says Josh Harris, former long snapper for the Falcons. Man, he's really
he did well in the NFL.
No, I do want to. Who is this guy, Josh Harris? I do want to know who this is. Businessman, American investor, sports team owner. He was the co-founder of the private equity firm Apollo Global Management, and then just got so rich he was able to buy 3.
One of those hedge fund managers, right?
Jeez,
and
it's unbelievable.
Must be nice, right?
Makes me sad about my life.
I own one house. This guy owns 3 franchises.
3, yes, professional sports franchises, and we have a house.
Yeah.
Hey, all relative, guys. It's all relative.
Yeah, it's all relative.
Yeah.
Speaking of, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. This is the last show probably until, I don't know.
March Madness, maybe?
Maybe. Yeah, if the Dogs make it to March Madness, absolutely. If not, it'll probably be a show right around 1st of April before G-Day comes around. So take a couple month break off, guys, and we really, truly appreciate you guys. If you comment on the show, you know who you are. I got too many names to list off, but you guys help make and grow the show. Glad we've been able to grow it this year. Love the chemistry that myself and Andy and unfortunately Eddie we all have together. Again,
well, before you cut us off, one question, round the horn. Paul, you go first. Who wins the national championship tomorrow night?
Ohio State.
Eddie?
What's the spread? I know it's irrelevant in your
8.5.
question. I'm just curious.
8.5.
I think Ohio State blows doors tomorrow. I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think their game was last weekend the last game and they got it done. So.
Agreed. Because you look at the Georgia game, we were 2 minutes. I know you can't take 2 minutes away. 2 minutes and we win the game. So whatever.
You take away the Penn State game, that interception late.
Let me ask you one more question, guys. If Ohio State's playing Georgia tomorrow, who wins that football game?
Ohio State.
Both take them.
Yeah, I think.
What's the spread, Paul? What's the spread?
Ooh, hypothetical spread. I would say Ohio State 4.5.
That's what I was going to say somewhere.
Low. Okay.
Yeah, it would be closer.
Say a touchdown.
You saw what Texas did to them. They kind of bullied them around a little bit.
They did.
I think it'd be 4.5, but they would still be favorited. So, Chris Taylor says, really fun to hang out with y'all.
Thank you, CT.
Phyllis saying, enjoyed it, be good or don't get caught. I love that. KC, we got Marsh Mutt saying, a lot of folks would love the house. Country blessings. You're exactly right. Enjoyed, ladies and gentlemen. I think the first part of that he's talking to you, Eddie. And we will talk to you guys later on. Don't get hit with any stray Garrett Key photos, guys, in these next couple of months.
Yes.
Keep it good. And no, we'll talk to you right before G-Day kicks off. This is the Peach State Power Hour presented by UJSports.com and M. Jones Heating and Cooling. Make sure you hit them up if you need them because we want them back as sponsors next year. So we'll talk to you then. For Andy Stowe, Eddie from Acworth, I'm Paul Maharry. Peace.